Are you a remote worker? Then this workout is for you. This is the circuit workout that we did for our Team Lean Challenge. So feel free to do any of these exercises at home. Obviously, some of you might not have a kettlebell or a medicine ball or a dumbbell. You guys can use gallons of milk, groceries, books, your kid in a safe way. So feel free to modify anything and have fun.
Alright guys, so now we're going to move on to our double leg hip hinge exercise. The first exercise in this sequence is going to be for a beginner. If you've never done a deadlift before, you would want to try this first. So what Kate's going to do is she's going to have her feet about hip width apart. She's going to stand up nice and tall. She's going to hinge at her hips. She's going to come forward. And she's going to come down to about a 45-degree angle, keeping her head nice and neutral. And then she's going to activate her hamstrings and her glutes to come back up. And she's really going to squeeze each time. Good. Alright guys, the next exercise in the double leg hip hinge sequence is going to be the deadlift. So Kate's going to stand with her feet about hip width apart. The kettlebell is going to be right in between her feet. She's going to bring her hips back. She's staying up nice and tall with her upper body. And she's going to bend those knees until she's able to come down and grab that weight. And she's going to come right up using her hamstrings and her glutes. Again, keeping that core pulled in tight in her upper body, nice and strong and up nice and tall. She's going to come back down. Now we're going to move on to the kettlebell swing. Kate's going to start with her feet about hip width apart, maybe out a little bit wider if that's how she feels more comfortable. She's going to bring her hips back nice and far as she comes down and reaches forward toward that kettlebell. She's going to keep her back nice and straight. She's then going to stand up and she's going to start using her hips to kind of swing the kettlebell up into the air until she's about even with her shoulders. You can come up a little higher for a different variation if you'd like. And when we come back, make sure as we come up, we're squeezing our hamstrings and our glutes. And that's it. All right, guys, now we're going to move on to the squat. So what Chris is going to do is he's going to stay up nice and tall. Feet are going to be about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider. As he sits down, his hips are going to come back and his upper body is staying up nice and tall. And then he's going to come right back up. So he's going to squeeze his hamstrings and his glutes to kind of push himself back up. Good. And then we're going to have you go ahead and turn to the side so they can see from there. Good. Notice how he's sitting his hips back nice and far so that his knees don't come past his toes. From the regular squat, we're going to go on to our next modification, which would be for intermediate. So it's going to be a squat to up on your tippy toes. So same movement on the way down, just come up and come up onto those toes and then right back down into it. Good. Go ahead and turn to the side so you can see from that angle as well. Perfect. Again, making sure your hips come back nice and far and your upper body stays up nice and tall. From here, we're going to move into the advanced version, which is a squat jump. So he's going to come down as if he was doing a regular squat, but he's going to come up into a jump, and he's going to land right back down into that squat position again, making sure that his knees never come past his toes. And that's it.
All right, so the next exercise is going to be a Russian twist, which is a core exercise. So you're going to sit down, sitting up with your back straight and flat, chest up, holding a weight. You can do it with or without a weight. So we're going to start with the beginner modification with your feet on the ground. Okay, and Amber is going to twist the ball from side to side, trying to touch the weight to the ground each time. See how our torso is rotating and she is keeping her hips stable and her knees facing forward. So then the more intermediate or advanced form of this exercise is getting your heels off the ground while doing this, keeping your lower body stable, facing forward, and your torso rotating from side to side.
Here, Andrea is performing a bent over row. We have two options. You can either use a table, counter, anything, solid surface, and go one arm at a time. Make sure you're pulling with your back, not just your arm. Shoulders are pulled back, back is flat, core is engaged. Or if this is too easy for you, you can switch to double arm rows. So this is a little more challenging because you're having to keep your core nice and stable, back straight, still pulling with your back, keeping your head down, neutral spine. Two arms at the same time. Have fun, guys. And the last, more advanced version is a renegade row. So here she's keeping that nice high plank form, core is engaged, back's nice and flat, shoulders are pushing up towards the ceiling. She's pushing through her back, lifting those arms, alternating every time. You can also use no weights before you get up to this level. Great job, Andrea.
All right, guys, so now we're gonna move on to some burpees. For beginners, you're gonna use something that's elevated off the floor, such as your coffee table or your couch. So what Chris is gonna do is he's gonna squat down, put his hands on the box, he's gonna hop back, and he's gonna hop back in toward the box, and he's gonna stand up. Another way to make it a little more challenging is that on the way up, he can add a little hop to the up part of it. Good, and then from here, to make it a little bit more challenging for an intermediate level, we're gonna move to the floor. So he's gonna do essentially the same thing. He's gonna squat down, hands are on the floor, he's coming out to a high plank, hopping back in, and then hopping up. Good, and then we're gonna have you turn to the side so they can see from there. Making sure that your hips don't dip down toward the floor as you're doing this. Good. And so as you can see, he made it even a little bit more challenging. He added a push-up into it. From there, if you want to make it even more challenging and you're advanced, you're going to go out into a single leg burpee. So, good. Just squatting down using one leg, hopping back on one leg, and coming up. Good. And then I'm going to have him turn and go on the other leg so you can see from that angle. And that's it.
All right, guys, so the last exercise we're going to show you here is a mountain climber. So you can see here, Andrea, elevated position, doing a slow version of a mountain climber. So taking a step forward, step back, keeping that nice straight line that we talked about with our push-ups. From there, Andrea's going to go to a faster movement here, driving the knees in towards the box here. Perfect. All right, so to make it a little more challenging, a little more work on the core, you're going to go down to the floor in a push-up position now, and start with a slow climber here first. Again, pulling those knees in towards the hands. Nice flat back. Perfect. Now let's go to a faster mountain climber. Nice. So focus on your breathing here, guys. Gets the heart rate up. Have fun.
Alright guys, now that you've seen all the exercises, put them together in a circuit style workout. That's how we ran it for the Team Lean Challenge. Go from one to the next. Go through them as fast as you can. If you need to take a break between them, obviously that's okay. But you're going to go from each station a minute at a time. So for all 6 exercises, it should be a total of 6 minutes. Break at the end, grab some water. No more than preferably a minute rest break between. Then you're going right back into the second circuit. Grab some water if you need it, stay hydrated, and if you need tips for warming up or cooling down, watch our other videos for more mobility, stretching, and dynamic warm-ups. Have fun.